Mayank Gandhi of the Aam Admi Party, Mohandas Pai, former director of Infosys, Nirmala Sitharaman of the BJP, Sanjay Jha of the Congress. On this extended news hour this evening, my first question is to the Minister of State Agriculture of Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi Party representative K Pandey. पांडे जी, आपने सुना वहाँ पे नरेश अग्रवाल किस किस तरह की बातचीत कर रहे थे? तो हम तो बिल्कुल we were all surprised.
देखिए
we were surprised and shocked at the way in which he was speaking.
नरेश जी की आप किसकी आवाज सुना रहे थे ये तो यहाँ पर सुनाई नहीं दे रहा था.
नरेश अग्रवाल आपके पार्टी के मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट?
नहीं, बिल्कुल हैं, हमारे पार्टी के मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हैं, लेकिन आप जो आवाज सुना रहे थे वो आवाज मुझे कुछ भी साफ नहीं सुनाई दे रहा था.
अच्छा, तो नरेश अग्रवाल जी, तो मैं तीन चार चीजें बता दूं आपको. पहली बात तो यह है कि नरेश अग्रवाल जी ने मुझे भी फोन किया 1.5 घंटा पहले, प्रोग्राम के पहले, और कहा कि आप कैसा न्यूज़ कर रहे हैं. तो हमने उनको कहा कि यही न्यूज़ है तो यही दिखाई जाएगी. पहली बात यह है जो उन्होंने कई चीज़ें कही. द फर्स्ट थिंग विच ही सेड, विच आई वांट अ रिएक्शन टू फ्रॉम यू मिस्टर पांडे, इज दैट नरेश अग्रवाल सेज कि जब उनको पूछा जाता है कि काफ़ी क्रिटिसिज्म है कि पार्टी ब्यूरोक्रेसी पर प्रेशर डालती है, तो उस बात को मानते हुए कहते हैं क्यों नहीं डालेंगे, ब्यूरोक्रेसी तो हमारी ही नीति को पालन करने के लिए बनी है. ये किस तरह का कमेंट है ये?
जब हमने सुना ही नहीं कि उन्होंने क्या कहा तो मैं उसका कोई जवाब नहीं दे सकता.
नहीं, आप ये कहा है, अगर उन्होंने उन्होंने ये कहा है तो आपको क्या, आप शॉक्ड हैं, सरप्राइज्ड हैं, आपको गुस्सा आ रहा है, आपको खराब लग रहा है कि कोई मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट इस तरह की भाषा यूज कर सकता है? नहीं, क्या आप एम्बैरेस्ड हैं?
ये आप बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट व्यक्ति के लिए कह रहे हैं, और जब तक मैं उनकी बात को खुद सुन नहीं लूंगा, तस्दीक नहीं कर लूंगा, मुतमईन नहीं हो जाऊंगा.
उन्होंने जब अगर ये बात कही है तो आपको कैसा लगता है? वो कहते हैं ये बात टेप में दिखाई गई है अभी.
नहीं, देखिए ये इन फ्यूचर को लेकर
फ्यूचर नहीं, पास्ट है, ये रिकॉर्डेड है, टेप पर है.
जब तक मैं खुद ना सुन लूं.
मुझे तो लग रहा है आप अवॉइड कर रहे हैं क्वेश्चन. मुझे लग रहा है आप एम्बैरेस्ड हो गए इस बात पर. निर्मला सीतारमन, कैन आई हैव अ रिएक्शन प्लीज? निर्मला सीतारमन जी भारतीय जनता पार्टी से है. निर्मला, वुड यू लाइक टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू व्हाट आई हैव सीन?
What you have actually shown now through this expose is utterly shocking, because you've already heard similar statements coming from the Uttar Pradesh administration, the political executive speaking in such voice that they don't need the Indian administrative service and they can all be called back and they will run the state with their own staff. But the point here is repeatedly on this matter. Now it's become an ego tussle. They have been caught in the wrong by suspending an official in the name of an appeasement politics, which itself is an exploitative politics. And now when the unlawful elements, the sand mafia, are trying to twist and turn the government to its favor by using this appeasement logic, when the Waqf board itself is saying no, she was not responsible, the people there are saying she was not responsible for bringing down the wall, and the DM, the boss of the SDM, is saying that the ground reports are also saying that she was not responsible. They could formally go into this matter and come back saying this is the fact and therefore we are withdrawing, or give a face saver. Instead they are only arrogating to themselves such positions which are not going to be sustainable at all. And in the interest of a fair administration, if it has gone wrong, it's gone wrong, or else say why you're right. No, but you can't be adamant.
You see, the problem is the Congress party.
Such actions.
The problem is the Congress party is letting the Samajwadi party get away with it. You see, Sanjay Jha, your government's response.
Not just that.
Yeah. Yes, you agree. You surely agree with this. Sanjay Jha, your party's response has always been.
Not just that, Arnab. I just want to say.
Yes, go on.
Not just that, Arnab. One, the centre can certainly intervene and make sure that as per rules that the National Service Cadre, the Indian administrative officers, are protected. They have shown it in very many number of cases. But I hold this charge against the Congress that in Rajasthan, for instance, in Jaisalmer, they have transferred an official, a police officer, senior SP, who was taking action against a history sheeter and who has links with the ISI, and there in a border state at a point like Jaisalmer, where it is an international border, here is a man who's been a history sheeter, whose son happens to be a Congress MLA, and therefore this becomes an issue they want to transfer.
You see, the Congress
so
parties...
The Congress parties looked the other side.
No, the Congress party's problem is... The Congress party's problem in this is that its government has decided to not do anything on Durga Shakti Nagpal. The sting operation that I showed Sanjay Jha has this Samajwadi party leader predict what is going to happen to Durga Shakti Nagpal. So he says the following. He says this investigation will carry on for a year. Okay? She has only been primarily suspended, then she will be officially suspended after a year. And he goes on to say we will look into all the decisions she's taken in the last 3 months. So they are going to persecute her. They have decided to suspend her officially, and they have decided to drag the investigation by a year. Why is your government and your Prime Minister, who is the minister in the Department of DOPT, just watching on and doing nothing as this persecution continues? And I have the comments of the Samajwadi party leader on tape. Why is your government so blind, Sanjay? You are complicit. By being blind, you are being complicit.
Arnab, pretty long question, but first I need to respond to Nirmala Sitharaman of the BJP.
Big issues, and I hope I get a nice long answer from you.
I need to put things in perspective. You will get a short answer, but you'll get the true answer. The fact of the matter is, let me remind Nirmala Sitharaman that her former BJP president, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, openly threatened the income tax officers of dire consequences when they were investigating the Purti companies. So, Nirmala Sitharaman, with due respects, I think that was a blatant, shameless display of power of politics being abused. Number two, and another example, Mr. Narendra Singh, of an IPS officer, was gunned down in the Madhya Pradesh government.
Making a statement.
1 minute. I think we need to put it because she's making an accusation. I'm answering your question.
If this is
I'm answering your question.
If this is a prepared statement,
it's a very unfortunate.
That I will not answer your question. I will give a prepared statement, but I will ask a question, and you have a prepared statement.
Well, you gave Nirmala Sitharaman an absolutely uninterrupted solo performance speech. Give me a couple of minutes to respond.
One second. I asked Nirmala Sitharaman a question and she answered my question. I asked you the question. I am getting a standard prepared response. My question to you is this. My question to you is this. The whole country has seen on tape tonight how the Samajwadi party is planning to punish and persecute this young lady officer, and why is your Prime Minister still doing nothing? That's all. Please directly answer that question.
Let me answer you first, but allow me to go back to Nirmala Sitharaman later. Number one, Arnab, when the Prime Minister of India tells you openly and categorically that the rules of service will be adhered to. Number two, that justice will be done.
When?
When the Congress President, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, writes a letter and ensures that victimization will not, 1 minute,
it's going
will not be allowed to be happening.
Victimization is going on every day.
I think it's about time we stopped attributing motives and, trying to make all kinds of insinuations.
Sanjay, I know you believe that your party and your government are beyond questioning.
1 minute. Arnab, 1 minute.
No,
1 minute. I think number two.
A member of parliament of the Samajwadi party has been caught on Times Now cameras threatening Durga Shakti Nagpal.
Arnab, you and I have discussed the word governance so often. There is a certain set of rules by which any government in the world functions. 1 minute.
You are being reminded of your rules. You are reminded of the rules. You are reminded of the rules. Which rule of governance? I want to challenge you, Sanjay. You tell me tonight. No, you tell me tonight, Sanjay. You want to teach me governance, so let me ask you this. You tell me tonight, okay? You have come with a prepared comment, and I am challenging you tonight, right? You tell me tonight, tell the whole country which rule of governance,
prepared, my answers are
which rule of governance stops your Prime Minister from coming to the defense of a helpless, honest young officer who is being punished and persecuted by a state government. Which rule of governance stops your Prime Minister from coming to her defense? When your Prime Minister and your government come to the defense of members of parliament who praise Rahul Gandhi, then why does your government not come to the defense of Durga Shakti Nagpal? Just tell me. Show me one rule now. Show me the rule book and I'll show you a counter rule.
Let me answer your question. Yes. Well, let me tell you. The rule book is very straightforward. The UP government has framed a charge sheet against her. She's entitled to, and I'm sure we are all looking forward to her response. Within 15 days, she will give a reply to that. And at that point, the central government will, in a very dispassionate, neutral way, take its own decisions. And let me tell you, at this point of time, the central government is very sensitive about the entire issue. We are talking about an upright officer fighting an establishment. But we need to know the facts of the case.
Well,
and let me know 1 minute. If you are telling me, Arnab Goswami, that the government should suo moto take an action without even getting the reply from Durga Nagpal, you will be giving another strength to the government of UP if they are wrong into saying that the central government is intervening, violating process. Governance is about following a process and a procedure and a system. That's how it runs, and we need to respect that.
I'll tell you one thing.
Are you suggesting that the central government must take unilateral action without hearing the other side and finding out the facts of the case?
No.
That is not the way any government in the world functions, and neither does India. But let me answer Nirmala Sitharaman.
Thank you.
She should know about R.B. Sri Kumar. She should know about Sanjay Jha in Gujarat. Officers who have been absolutely harassed, and their cases are well documented. So let me tell you,
that's a light argument that you have persecuted. Your argument amounts to this. Your argument amounts to this.
How the government is doing
your argument tonight amounts to this. Your argument amounts to this. Your governments have persecuted officers, so we will persecute officers, we'll allow the persecution of officers. And thanks for trying to make this a civics lesson.
We're not saying
but
that.
I'm telling you, Sanjay, we all know how the government functions, and you did not answer my question. I challenge you once again to show me one part of the rule book which prohibits the government to coming to the defense of an honest officer. You did not answer the question. Mayank Gandhi.
The central government is sensitive to this issue.
Mayank Gandhi, the sting operation reveals a lot, doesn't it?
I think we're being highly dismissive.
What it really reveals is that this is no longer a democracy. These are all kings and queens. Especially if you look at Omar Abdullah and you look at Akhilesh. These are children who are been born in a family which is so arrogant. They think they are kings and all these are their servants. But I am really glad in a way that this arrogance is coming out so clearly in front of the people of this country. And what all these apologists are saying, and you look at
Who's the apologist? You say Sanjay Jha is the apologist.
Absolutely. And if you look at the Khemka, if you look at Sonali, you look at the IT officers that Nitin Gadkari threatened, look at the way they are being treated as if these are all monarchs and these are all their servants. And I really think that see, all these people, all these civil services servants who are being prosecuted really should come out and fight this system. Aam Admi Party welcome Durga Shakti if she would come and join and fight this system. So much corruption has gone through the country, and we need people who are honest to come out and fight.
Well, certainly we do. But you know, my question, what I find is very shocking. I am actually surprised that Sanjay Jha is not surprised. And I would have expected that after having seen the sting operation, Sanjay Jha would have said, Sanjay Jha would have said, allow me 1 second, Sanjay. You see, Sanjay, 1 minute, please. You see, what you are saying today is we will act when appropriate. Our sting operation, Mohandas Pai, has proven that there is a conspiracy to punish and persecute Durga Shakti Nagpal. This is a most brazen conspiracy.
Absolutely.
And I don't know why those who can act are not acting. It doesn't, you know, so who's more to blame, Mohandas Pai, the centre or the government in Lucknow? Or both?
Arnab, I would say that the government in Lucknow is a write-off. Everybody knows their attitude. It's a feudal party consisting of communal elements who treat their government officials like servants, and they do many illegal activities. It's a Gunda Raj, we know this. But the center is headed by a 150-year-old party, we know, which has ruled this country well, which has been good in administration, and we as citizens of this country expect them to stand up and fight for the rights of these officers. Because this officer is a very honest officer who's done her duty well, and the center should stand by it. Now, the key question is, what should they do? And I think maybe we got to wait a couple of days for them to see this sting operation and decide. But all citizens want the central government to act firmly to put the UP government into place, even if it leads to lack of niceties constitutionally. Because unless they do this, we're going to see mayhem in UP, we're going to see more transfers, we're going to see honest officers getting hurt, and we're going to see a lack of work happening. This time the government of India took a stand. It's an all-India service. So I would hold the UPA government responsible.
Yeah. No, well, a lot of people are holding the UPA government responsible for the inaction. I'd like to also point out in this case as well, it appears the Congress party has taken a stronger view than the government. Just like in the case of Pakistan, the government's not saying anything, the Congress party is coming out. My second question to MK Pandey. पांडे जी, ये जो स्टिंग ऑपरेशन है, इसमें और एक बात निकली है. इसमें ये बात निकली है कि डिसाइड हो चुका है कि 1 साल तक ये जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन चलेगा, उसके बाद उनका ऑफिशियल सस्पेंशन होगा. और इस बीच उन्होंने ये भी कहा है कि जो तीन महीने या 3 महीने में जो डिसीजन दुर्गा शक्ति नागपाल ने लिए हैं, उसका जांच होगा. तो मैं आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, ये किस तरह से आप सरकार चला रहे हैं? ये तो एक जोक है. आप किस तरह का इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहे हैं? तो एक जोक है पांडे.
अरे आप हमको बोलने देंगे कि नहीं आप ही बोलेंगे?
नहीं, आपको नहीं लगता जोक है?
बोलने का मौका देंगे कि आप ही बोलेंगे?
आपको नहीं लगता जोक है?
अरे तो आपको बोलना हो तो मैं हट जाऊं
ना? आप कहिए, आपको जोक लगता है कि नहीं?
आपका ये जो काल्पनिक आपका स्टिंग ऑपरेशन है, इसको आप ही सुनिए, आप ही देखिए. इस तरह का कोई ऑपरेशन
आप इतने घमंड क्यों दिखा रहे हैं टेलीविजन पर पांडे जी?
कोई नहीं जानता.
घमंड अच्छा नहीं होता.
कोई नहीं जाना, कोई नहीं. आप किस स्टिंग ऑपरेशन की आप बात कर रहे हैं? मेरी समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
टीवी पे दिख रहा है
ना, मैंने सुना है ना मुझे जानकारी है.
नरेश अग्रवाल
जानकारी भी नहीं है कि आप किसी स्टिंग ऑपरेशन की बात कर रहे हैं.
नरेश अग्रवाल जी कह रहे हैं उसमें काफी कुछ.
सुनूंगा, मैं जानूंगा तब तो मैं बताऊं.
तो आप जानने की कोशिश तो कीजिए. आपको बता तो रहा हूं, आप सुन ले रहे हैं. आप नहीं ना सुन रहे हैं ना जानने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. आप सिर्फ इसको काल्पनिक कह रहे हैं और एक तरह से बड़े ही घमंडी तरह से आप रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं. आप ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं? आपको नहीं लगता है कि लोग ये देख के समझेंगे कि कहीं एमके पांडे को ये भ्रम तो नहीं है कि उत्तर प्रदेश के मालिक है?
लेकिन नहीं, ये गलतफहमी आपको हो सकती है, हमें नहीं है.
अच्छी बात है, आपको नहीं है ना, वही आपसे पूछ रहा था.
जनता का जनप्रतिनिधि हूं, जनता से चुन करके आया हूं, लेकिन मैं आपके दिखाए हुए या सुनाए हुए किसी स्टिंग ऑपरेशन को तब तक नहीं मानूंगा जब तक मैं अपनी कानों से सुनूंगा नहीं, मैं इसकी तस्दीक नहीं करूंगा, मैं मुतमईन नहीं हो जाऊंगा. और मैं ऐसे किसी स्टिंग ऑपरेशन पे जिसको मैं जानता नहीं हूं.
इसमें ये और एक बात कही है. नहीं, मुझे लग रहा है कि पांडे जी आप ये स्टिंग ऑपरेशन में जो बात नरेश अग्रवाल जी ने कही है, इस पर आप काफी एम्बेरेस्ड हैं. तो उन्होंने और एक बात कही है. उन्होंने कहा है कि दुर्गा शक्ति को 1 मिनट आप सुन लीजिए, क्योंकि ये बात ऐसा है. देखिए पांडे जी, आजकल जो राजनेता हैं, उन्हें जो जैसे जर्नलिस्ट कुछ कहते हैं या जनप्रतिनिधि आप हैं, तो जनता जो कहती है आपको थोड़ा सा सुनना पड़ेगा. थोड़ा सा धीरे रखिए. वो कहते हैं सुन लीजिए,
पूरे सम्मान के साथ सुनेंगे.
नहीं, आप सुनिए मेरी बात को, आप सुनिए पांडे जी,
बड़े आदर के साथ मैं कहना
अच्छी बात है. आदर के साथ आपको मैं कह रहा हूं कि उन्होंने ये कहा, दुर्गा शक्ति को कहे कि वो लिख कर दे कि हम माओवादी क्षेत्र में काम करेंगे, पति पत्नी, हम कल ही लिख कर दे देंगे कि उनके साथ नाइंसाफी हुई है, उन्हें बहाल किया जाए. ये किस तरह का लॉजिक है? ये किस तरह का लॉजिक है?
देखिए, मैं बड़े आदर के साथ आपसे कहना चाहता हूं कि ये आप हमको बता रहे हैं, मैंने तो नहीं सुना है.
ये तो मैं तो आपको कह रहा हूं,
और ने बताया है इसको, ना कहीं ये मीडिया में.
अच्छा, आप ये कहिए, ऐसा लैंग्वेज किसी जनप्रतिनिधि को यूज करना चाहिए?
तो क्या
इस तरह का भाषा, इस तरह का व्यवहार, इस तरह की सोच होनी चाहिए किसी मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट की?
मैं आपसे बड़े आदर के साथ कहना चाहता हूं कि यदि उन्होंने कहीं
नहीं, आदर नहीं चाहिए मुझे. मैं आपसे आदर नहीं उत्तर चाहता हूं.
नहीं, तो उत्तर आप समझ लीजिए कि जिस घटना को न मैंने देखी है न सुनी है, या
गांधी निर्मला सीतारमन जी हंस रही है वहां पे, क्योंकि ऐसा है, तो सच्चाई निकल के आती है तो सब तरफ से निकल के आती है. द skeletons are coming out of your cupboards. Nirmala Sitharaman, what do you want to say to the Samajwadi Party representative? He's just in denial tonight. Nirmala,
thank you.
I find your आदर and उत्तर.
नहीं, आप चले मत जाइए, आप सुनिए. आप भाग क्यों रहे प्रोग्राम से? 1 minute.
One thing.
1 minute. आप भाग मत जाइए प्रोग्राम से.
Other is one thing.
He's leaving the program.
But the fact is, we are not getting answers from the Samajwadi Party. How can a statement of this nature be
He's
made?
leaving the program.
That let them write and give it to us, undertaking, and then that they would work in Maoist. I mean, what kind of deals are these? Here is an honest officer who's trying to do their job. and you're trying to give them a bargain in the process, saying, you say so, and then I will go and defend you. These are outrageous ways in which governance is being taken up in Uttar Pradesh, which is absolutely worrying. And therefore, I would think this is a very, very serious statement. We really have to question the Samajwadi Party if this is how they are ensuring fair administration.
But the Samajwadi Party minister... Nirmala Sitharaman, I'm sorry to say this, but while he was speaking, the Samajwadi Party minister took his earpiece off and he left. And I think that really reveals something, doesn't it, Mayank?
Complete arrogance. I'm seeing so much arrogance.
Absolutely.
So much arrogance.
It is unbelievable. You are a representative of people. You are there to support, to talk on their behalf. And if this is the kind of arrogance you have of people, of IS officers, I mean, amazing amount of insensitivity.
And we put this sting operation out in the public domain, Mohandas Pai, we debated it. I think this entire sting operation, the entire observations of Naresh Agrawal will be played again because it reflects everything. I mean, for me, Mohandas Pai, it reflected the fact that these politicians have one language before the camera when they know the camera is on, and they have another language that they speak when they think the camera is off. And there are times, Mohandas Pai, when we must reveal this. We must expose this. Mr. Pai.
I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you, Arnab. They are acting like rulers, like somebody said, they're acting like rajas and rulers, absolute tyrants, and everybody is their servant. And the state is there for them to make money and rule, like this sand mafia is doing. That's the way they're built. They're all feudal elements. They're not a political party in the traditional sense. And I think it's time the people of this country stood up and say enough is enough.
No, my question
I don't know what
is
is going to happen in UP. It's the largest state in this country. So I think the only thing left is for the centre to intervene and put them in their place.
No, my question is, you are saying this is a feudal party. What about the way Congress treated Khemka? Is Congress also a feudal party? What about the way Gadkari talked to the income tax officers? Is that also a feudal party? It is cutting across parties. All these people are rajas, and we all are the servants, especially the IS officers who are being given salaries so that they can work and clean their feet and clean their shoes. We have seen all of that.
And I also found one part revealing, Nirmala, yes, Nirmala, actually Nirmala wanted to add something. Yeah.
I just want to respond. In all this, every attempt to paint every party as equally being corrupt, equally being, royal, all that doesn't work. It might sound very nice, but I think what is important is we are up against certain parties which is outrageously coming out with such statements which are not justifiable. Others are at least willing to answer. And in that, I certainly like to, emphasize, even to assure Mayank Gandhi, who's, through the newly formed party, trying to bring in certain justifiably, probably good standards of public life. But it is no business of the Congress party's representatives to now talk about, what is happening with the BJP very quickly without diverting from your expose on Naresh Agrawal. I like to say, if that is indeed a question, it was a Dirty Tricks Department's job of the Congress to quash cases, and then if at all they really had some prima facie, both in Maharashtra and in centre, it is a Congress government. Why is there no one FIR against Nitin Gadkari? One question. Second, not taking more time.
No.
Arnab, just permit me to finish this.
Ms. Sitharaman,
just permit me to finish one question.
That it's being persecuted.
Without me raising the issue. No, just a minute. Without me raising this issue, the reference came of certain police officers from Gujarat. What was the enthusiasm with which delinquent officers of Gujarat were protected by the Union government?
We will have another discussion on Gujarat.
Durga Shakti.
No, we'll have another discussion on Gujarat.
They don't want to move an inch.
No, that's not the issue. The issue is Durga Shakti.
So let the Congress panelists not become over-enthusiastic in these matters.
Ms. Sitharaman.
It is an important reference.
Ms. Sitharaman, you see, my worry is... No, Ms. Sitharaman, my worry is...
That's an important point.
I know it's...
The centre fails to take action.
I hope you'll give me a minute to
No, I will. But I want to say one thing before I come to you, Sanjay. You see, that what I believe
Much
is this.
Before I referred to it, there was this over-enthusiastic panelist of the Congress.
Well, I know you are referring to Sanjay Jha. I will go to it. But I will add a word of caution. I will add a word of caution.
And also Jaisalmer.
I will add a word of caution. And the word of caution is this. That if we get into a political tutu mehme, then the focus on Durga Shakti Nagpal goes. And these are the words of Naresh Agrawal.
Absolutely.
Naresh Agrawal says, बचपने का काम कर रहा है मीडिया, नेशनल इशू को मीडिया नहीं दिखा रहा है, चाइना इंडिया में घुस गया है वो नहीं दिखा रहा है, पाकिस्तान की एक खबर नहीं है. So Naresh Agrawal wants us to focus on China and Pakistan, and then he says एक दुर्गा शक्ति नागपाल सस्पेंड हो गई तो देश पूरा खत्म हो गया और सब काम बंद. In other words, the Samajwadi party, whose representative has run away from the Newshour tonight and refused to come back even when we told him, wants the focus to shift from Durga Shakti Nagpal. Now the only people who can bring the focus back is the centre. It's your government's responsibility, Sanjay Jha, to bring the focus back on Durga Shakti Nagpal. Will you abdicate that responsibility?
Yes.
Will you abdicate it?
Arnab, on your channel, as a spokesperson of the Indian National Congress Party, I would like to assure you, the panelists and the people of India, that the central government will ensure that justice is given speedily and as quickly as possible. We are awaiting Durga Shakti's response to the charge sheet. Let me tell you, more than anybody else, I'm sure she is going to herself give a very, very detailed response.
Well, I think the government ought to come out in her defense and not leave it for her to fight a lonely fight.
But what?
I think your government ought to come out in her defense as well. You can't put the onus on her.
The point that I'm going to make, Arnab, I have been following all the news channels ever since this issue happened. I think it's been blatantly unfair the way everybody has been targeting the Prime Minister here. The Prime Minister has made assurance, he's given an assurance here. We are not treating Durga Shakti Nagpal as just one officer fighting a state government. But the point is that if we are going to be, if we want to respect this country, then we got to respect its protocols, its governance.
This is not the you have another protocol when you intervene for IAS officers who criticize Rahul Gandhi in 2008.
I don't want the central
then your protocol is different. When you reinstate an officer suspended by the Andhra Pradesh government, your protocol is different. When it comes to Mulayam Singh Yadav, whose support you desperately need for the food bill, your protocol is different. Have some sense of consistency, Sanjay Jha.
Political mileage out of this.
Have some consistency.
1 minute. I'm going to answer you. We don't want. The Congress party is not looking at making any political mileage out of an issue that is in my
opinion. You don't have to take mileage. All you have to do,
let me answer one point.
All you have to do is use your power.
My BJP counterpart has been sounding extremely upset because I put some facts on the table.
Well,
but since she made an accusation, it was important
I now am closing this debate because I want the focus to be on Durga Shakti Nagpal.
Channel 1 minute, and you cannot take a high-standing position.
And you know this.
She made a statement on Pankaj Chaudhary.
And you know
Let me tell you, the Rajasthan government. 1 minute.
Okay, so here's a question.
One amongst 49 officers transferred.
Here's a question.
It is not in isolation. It is an event, not in isolation.
Absolutely.
And this is how the BJP uses politics, even with
you brought it onto the national television, and you are now trying to defend yourself. I'm sorry.
Politics with Durga Shakti Nagpal, and that is not right.
Well, you have now. Your government has not said a word or acted once for Durga Shakti Nagpal.
Arnab, it was the Congress spokesperson who tried bringing the topic onto the channel. Now he's getting very defensive about it. This kind of a knee-jerk, lecturing doesn't help, Mr. Sanjay Jha. You brought it onto the table. You're now trying to defend when you've been pointed out on the wrong.
You said
you play your card
you're wrong.
and then you get it back again. You can't
You're
accept
wrong,
it.
Nirmala Sitharaman.
Just don't speak.
Mohandas Pai.
That is not a case of political vendetta.
Mohandas Pai, last word to Mohandas Pai as I close the debate. Mohandas Pai, the problem is that no political party which can do something is doing something for Durga Shakti Nagpal. And I have a suspicion that the Congress party wants this issue to die down so that nobody questions the Congress party again and again on why its government chose to do nothing while having the power to do something for Durga. That is how this entire story script is being written now.
Arnab, throughout the last maybe 25-30 years, all political parties have done this to their officers. They want pliable officers. And I think it's time that citizens of this country rose up to tell the government this is not acceptable anymore. So I think this case will become a test case of the resolve of the government of India to make sure they stand up by their honest officers.
Well, we'll follow the story.
If the government of India backs down and succumbs to succumbs to the SP government, then I think they too are part of the same tribe as the SP government.
We are waiting to see the government's responses on two things. One, whether the government chooses to do something or not on Durga Shakti Nagpal. And secondly, we want to know whether the Prime Minister will call off talks with Pakistan, or despite what Pakistan has done with the butchery of 5 Indian soldiers on our territory, whether the Prime Minister will continue to meet Nawaz Sharif in New York next month. The pressure is growing, and we're following both these stories and more on the Newshour. Thanks very much for watching. See you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.